This is an oral history interview conducted for the Witness to War Serving a Nation project at Nauset Regional High School on Cape Cod, Massachusetts. For the sake of this interview, please state your full name and community in which you now reside.
My name,
Yeah.
Richard Douglas Sylver.
And the community in which you now reside.
Where do you live?
Where do I live? Right here in Dennis.
Okay. How did you end up here on Cape Cod?
I'm born and raised here.
What was your life like before you joined the military?
Ooh, that was a long time ago. Well, just a normal, it's all I can say. I mean, worked hard, and ate in the family.
Okay. What was your family life like before the military?
You got to speak a little louder, son.
What was your family life like before you were drafted, or were you drafted?
What was my family like?
Yes.
I don't know what you mean, but just a normal family. Worked hard, and that's about it.
Did you work? Did you have like a job before you went into the war?
Absolutely, yeah. I was a carpenter, mechanic. When you live on Cape Cod like I have, you'll do everything to make a living. You'll shovel sand, you'll do it all. Yep.
Why did you join the military?
I didn't join, I was drafted. They wouldn't take me in the military. I had a perforated eardrum.
Okay, so, what was your? Describe your training for the military. Your training.
Come again.
What was your training like for the military?
How was I trained? That's during the war. We were trained pretty hard. I started in North Carolina, Fort Bragg. And I went from there to Camp Blanding, Florida, to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and back to Alabama and overseas.
What was your training like while you were there? Like, what did you do there to train?
What did I do?
What did you do, like, in those places to train?
I was a mechanic, heavy duty, truck mechanic.
Okay. Why were you in the field artillery?
Why? Because the only thing I can think of, when you sit down for an IQ test, you're mechanically inclined, that's where you'll wind up.
What was your experience in school? Like, did you have any schooling or education?
You know what?
Education.
Yeah. Yarmouth High School and DY. And Dennis.
Did you go to college at all?
No. Hard went to college or hard knocks.
Okay, describe your living arrangements while you were serving in the military.
When I was a child,
No, while you were in the military. Like, how did you live?
how did I live?
Like, where did you live? Or what was where did you sleep? What was your living arrangements like?
I slept in the barracks and just about, I just got through telling you, I was in 2 or 3 different military posts. North Carolina and Alabama. Yeah.
What was your daily life like while you were in, like, North Carolina and Alabama?
While I was in the service,
Yeah.
what was my military life? Work hard and try to keep out of trouble. See, the Germans didn't shoot me. I know there's not good answers, but
Did you use the skills you learned in the military after you came back?
Did I do what?
Did you use your military
Yes.
skills after you came back?
Get that down so he can see my, what do you call it there?
You gotta talk louder,
Yeah.
make it louder.
I'll tell you a little something about what we done. All right. Take a look at that.
That's fantastic.
Show it to the camera. So can you explain like what these medals were?
Yeah. It's, places that I went, Europe.
Do you have any stories behind some of these medals? Do you have any stories behind some of these medals?
Not really. I've got a story behind that French award there. Yeah. And there's a little pocket, little, what do you call it? They're showing that medal in there. That's from the French. Isn't that nice?
Yeah. So what was the story behind this? How did you get it?
Yeah, that's the highest award the French give out. All right, I can put this over on the table. All right, how far we got? Am I answering the questions the way you want them, or, huh?
Yeah.
Thank you, dear.
Of course.
What kind of food did you eat while you were training and like while you were in the military?
What kind of food did
What
I
kind
eat?
of food?
Regular army food is like we eat now, same thing.
Did you have like lots of free time while you were training?
A
Like,
lot of free time.
yeah, and what did you do?
No, weekends. When I was in the States, when I was overseas, I didn't get any free time.
Did you have like any expectations of what war was gonna be like?
When I boarded that boat, I expected never to come back here again. That was my expectation.
Where did you go while you were in Europe? Where did you go while you were in Europe?
Where did I go? Well, I guess we started in England, France, Belgium, Germany, Austria. And that's where I was discharged out of Vienna, Austria.
Did you have any relationships with your colleagues while you were stationed there?
Would I have any relationships
Did
with
you have
my,
like friends there?
with what?
Did you have like good friendships there?
Yeah. Very good. When you're in the service, you have a lot of buddies.
How old were you when you were
Oh.
drafted?
21 years old.
How did you feel when you came home from Europe?
How did I feel? It was quite a while ago, but I was happy. Let's put it that way.
What was your most vivid memory from fighting in Europe?
What did I do? What?
What was your most vivid memory?
Vienna, Austria. That was my biggest memory.
Like, what did you remember about it?
What did I remember about it? She was a nice looking girl.
So is that where you met your wife?
What's that?
Is that where you met your
No,
wife?
I'm not.
Oh.
No. I don't know what else to say. This guy just years ago.
What kind of uniform did you wear?
A regular army. Eisenhower jacket, and regular. I don't know if you have ever seen an army uniform back in my day.
Was
They're a
it
little different than they are today.
was it comfortable? Do you know?
Oh, very. Yeah.
How did you feel about leaving your family to go to Europe?
Didn't feel good, of course. Not good at all. I was young.
Were they sad to see you go?
I was, what's that?
Were they sad to see you go?
Of course. Yeah. Things were different then than they are now. A lot different. I took me to Hyannis and boarded a train to Boston. The cars weren't too plentiful, but pretty old. 1941. I'm not giving you the answers probably that you want. And I don't know, my daughter's back there, maybe she can help.
Do you miss anything about the military?
Do I miss anything?
Yeah, what do you miss most about it?
No, I don't miss, all my buddies have passed on now, but I miss them.
Did you have like very intense emotions during the war?
Did I have what?
Like intense emotions during the war?
I don't know what
Speak up.
Were there any times where you had intense emotions during the war?
to do what?
Just like intense moments of happiness?
Happiness?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose so. Just normal. Some days you feel pretty good and you're doing things you like to do, and some days you don't. I mean, I don't know how to answer it.
Did you have any sad moments while you were in the
Sad
war?
moments?
Yeah.
Yeah, many.
Tell them about your brother.
My brother?
Yeah.
Well, I had a brother in the ETO, European Theater, but I didn't know where he was. So one day, the captain came to me and said, "Young man, you're going to take a little trip. You've been under a lot of pressure." So they sent me to the Riviera in Nice, France, and I don't know if you know anything about that. That's a recreation place for millionaires. But the army had taken it over. So they sent me there, and I was in for an interview, and I told them that I had a brother in the European Theater, but I didn't know where he was. Well, he said, "We'll find out where he is, and General Eisenhower has given us an order. If you have a blood relation in the European Theater, he will be here with you." And he was that night. My brother arrived, and he had been on a furlough, but they had to let him come at the Riviera in Nice, France. I don't know if you know anything about that, but it's the millionaire's paradise. And we had a good time, let me tell you.
What did your brother do in the European theater?
He was a mechanic. Yeah, staff sergeant. He was a little older than me, but we had a good time together for 1 week. Yeah. Next.
What was most rewarding about being a mechanic?
What was the most?
What was most rewarding about being a mechanic?
See it start up and run.
What were some of the things that you built?
Some of the things that I built, I didn't build anything, I repaired. The Army had all the equipment there. You had to keep it running, that's all. It's hard to explain what you have to do to maintain a tank or a heavy-duty truck.
Did you have any regrets while you were in the military?
Did I have any what?
Regrets.
Regrets? No. No regret.
What was the weather like while you were stationed there?
In Europe, the weather, sometimes you was in mud up to your ankles. It was always out in the field, you know, you're not on a road like you have here. This is back a long time ago. A lot of things weren't developed, so we had to operate in mud with our tanks and tractors and trucks. So it was pretty tough. But we made it.
How did you get from like place to place? What was your transportation like?
From here to Europe?
Yeah.
The boat, ship. It was 13 days on the water. It's 1 day shy of 2 weeks. And I'll tell you, I'll never forget it.
What?
I say I'll never forget that trip. It was in the wintertime, December, when we crossed the Atlantic. Pretty bad.
So were the conditions bad on the ship? Like was it?
They were
a tough
terrible.
voyage?
Yeah, 1 meal a day. Couldn't go up on the deck because the water was coming right over it. Yeah, that was the worst part of the whole war. I never thought I'd ever see land again. And
How did you get back from Europe?
came back quick on an American ship. I think it was 5 days, I think, coming back.
How did you get from different like countries in Europe? How did you get between those?
Trucks. Army trucks. Tanks, big ones. I mean, heavy duty stuff.
Were the conditions on how were the conditions on the trucks, would you say?
The condition on the trucks. The conditions on the truck were not too good. But because we'd travel all day and then you'd put up at night and you'd sleep in the back of the truck if you could find a spot to sleep.
How many people were on each truck, would you say?
How many people were in the truck? Well, there was just, in the truck that I had was a maintenance truck, there's just 3 of us. So, we were in a convoy of many trucks. Never traveled alone.
How well do you think you adapted to coming back from the war?
How long did it take me to adapt to civilian life again?
Yeah.
Quite a little while. I'll tell you, many times I jumped out of the bed at night and was hearing bombs going off. It took a little while, but I can't say how long. But it takes a little bit. Every now and then I hear it again. Even now.
Wow.
How were you treated when you came home?
How was I treated?
Yeah.
Well, I guess just normal. My family came back. My folks were here. I was still a young guy.
Did you have a good relationship with your brother when you came back?
Yep. Yeah, I had 2 brothers. One of them didn't serve. Yeah, I had a good relationship with him. I don't know if I'm giving him good answers or not.
Okay. What was the, like, why did they give you this medal?
Because we fought in France. The French government gave it to me. There's a picture right back there. They're giving it to me. Yeah, that's it. Why did they give it to me? That's the only thing I can tell you. I was in France fighting for the French people.
In that picture, who is pinning the medal?
That I can't think of what he is, but he was a big shot in the French government. 3 of us got that medal that day. Yep. Next. I don't know if I'm giving you the answers that you want, but
Did you have a good relationship with the French people there?
with the French people,
Yeah.
oh yeah, sure. Couldn't speak their language, but it's tough, you know, when you're talking to somebody and they don't understand you.
So you worked beside French soldiers as well? You worked.
No.
Oh, you did.
Well, they were there, but they weren't with us. We had, I think it was Saint Nazaire and the Lorient. We had 60,000 Germans pocketed there. They had everything but gasoline. They had all kinds of ammunition, but they couldn't move. We had them backed up against the ocean.
What was the most challenging part of being a mechanic there?
Most challenging part? Keeping the damn thing running.
Were there any, like, tanks or machines in particular that were hard to repair? What was the hardest thing to repair?
Tanks. Putting a track on. They got it blown off and you try to put a track on and you've only got one wheel on the one side there, you see. Well, we had all kinds of tricks. We weren't there too long before we'd have that track back on that vehicle.
Was there a lot of pressure for you to, like, repair things quickly?
Do what?
Was there a lot of pressure on you when you were repairing?
At times. Yeah, at times they were blasting at us, you know. You want to get out of there as fast as you can. Yeah, it's something that you can imagine, but you have to be there to really know what's going on.
How were you treated, like, as a veteran?
How was I treated?
Like, as a veteran? Did you have a job after the war? Did you still continue to work as a mechanic after the war?
Yep, I did. I'd done a number of different jobs. Yeah, when you lived on Cape Cod years ago, you had to do most anything that was available. From digging clams to building houses.
What was your most proudest moment while you were in Europe?
What is my most valued memory? I don't know. Getting out of there, I guess. But anyway, I didn't get hurt. I worked hard. Just normal. I can't think of anything exciting, you know, I mean.
What kind of living arrangements did you have while you were stationed in Europe?
All the times we had snow and rain. And you put a raincoat over you so you wouldn't get wet. Yeah. You just can't picture what we had to go through. Next.
If I was going into the military, what advice would you give me?
Just do as they tell you and keep your nose clean. And you'll advance. If you don't, you'll be in plenty of trouble. That's all I can tell you. I know. I've seen a lot of it.
When I say the words World War II, what's the first thing that pops into your mind?
The first thing that pops into my mind, I don't know. Been a long time. I can't answer that question. I don't know. Is it? I can't think of anything other than it's tough. That's all I can tell you. To be hauled into the military from at wartime. It's not great. It's not fun. You're going to train hard to keep yourself from getting killed. So that's what we did.
How'd you feel when they told you that the war was over?
How did I feel? Pretty damn happy. Sounds like I'm going home. And we did. Probably a month and a half later, I was back home.
What did you do while you waited to get home?
I was in Vienna, Austria. And just nothing. Had a nice looking girl. Yeah.
Did you do a lot of celebrating there?
Did I do a lot of what?
Celebrating with your friends?
Oh, no. Celebrated when the war was over, but I mean, that didn't last very long. Wanted to come home. That was the big thing. Had been over there 2 years.
How did serving your country affect you later in life?
How did it affect me? I can't answer that, I don't think. I just, you respect people. It's a completely different life. Military life and civilian life are two different.
Did you enjoy like the order?
What's that?
Did you enjoy like the order and of military life?
Did I enjoy the orders?
Yeah.
Yeah. The orders that they give you for your own benefit.
Did you like the strict rules? Did you have lots of strict rules that you
Yes.
had to follow?
Yes. Yes. The way you dress, the way you keep yourself, shoes, everything has, when you're in the States here, but when you're overseas, it's completely different. But while you're a soldier in the States, you dress and be neat and be polite and respect your officers.
Is there anything that happened in the war that they didn't train you for?
Many things happen they didn't train you for.
Did you have to like think quickly while you were there?
They have to do what?
Think quickly? Like think on your feet?
I don't have to answer that. I don't.
Well, for some of the things they didn't train you for, what did you have to do?
There's many things they didn't train you for. In everyday life, I mean, it's the only thing they trained you for is not to be killed. Try to protect yourself with your gun and your rifle and your helmets and your.
Okay. Thank you for doing
Well,
this.
now, that, have I answered anything the way that you wanted it?
Yes. Do you have any
I
more?
mean, this is a long time ago.
Do you have any more stories you want to tell
Pardon
us?
me?
Do you have any more stories you want to tell us before?
No. No, most of the stories that I had I probably have forgotten. But it was a long time ago.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing this.
Well, I've done the best I can. And if,
Thank you.
you're welcome, dear.